French protesters set fires, smashed shops in Paris riots. Video by Reuters. Paris APU French yellow vest protesters set life-threatening fires, smashed up luxury stores and clashed with police Saturday in the 18th straight weekend of demonstrations against President Emmanuel Macron. Large plumes of the resurgent violence came as protesters are seeking to breathe new life into a movement that seemed to be fizzling, and get attention from French leaders and media, whom they see as underplaying their economic justice cause and favoring the elite. Paris police appeared to be caught off guard by the speed and severity of the unrest. French police cobblestones flew in the air and smoke from fires set by protesters mingled with clouds of tear gas sprayed by police, as tensions continued for hours along the Champs-Élysées. One perilous fire targeted a bank on the ground floor of a 7-story residential building. As fire trucks, protest organizers had hoped to make a splash Saturday, which marks the 4-month anniversary of Yellow Vest movement that started November 17. It also marks the violence started minutes after the protesters gathered Saturday, when they threw smoke bombs and other objects at officers along the famed Champs-Élysées, scene of repeated past rioting, and started pounding on the windows of a police van, prompting riot police to retreat. Simultaneous fires were also put out from 2 burning newspaper kiosks, which sent black smoke high into the sky. Several demonstrators also targeted symbols of the luxury industry, as shops including brands Hugo Boss and Lacoste were smashed up and pillaged, and mannequins thrown out of the broken windows. A posh eatery, Interior Minister Christophe Castaner said on French television that an estimated 10,000 yellow vest protesters were in Paris and another 4,500 protesters were demonstrating around France. He also said that, still, the numbers paled beside the 30,000 people estimated to be taking part in a separate climate march that was weaving through Paris at the same time, according to Castaner. And the number of yellow vest protesters remained smaller than early in the movement, when it drew masses to the streets nationwide and polls showed a majority of French people supporting their cause. Since then, Paris police told the Associated Press that 109 people were arrested in Paris on Saturday. Yellow vest groups representing teachers, unemployed people, and labor unions were among those that organized dozens of rallies and marches. Protesters dismiss Macron's national debate on the economy as empty words and a campaign ploy to gain support for the European Parliament elections in May. Many protesters, particularly those on the political extremes, see the national debate as a failure. While the rioters drew most attention Saturday, most of the protesters remain peaceful.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park,